The following program is paid for by Main Street Living.
Hi, I'm Pastor Matthew Harrison, president of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. Starting in the late 1950s, Lutheran Hour Ministries aired a television program called This is the Life in their efforts to bring Christ to the nations. It was a critically acclaimed show that used story and drama to convey eternal truths from God's Word. And it featured actors who were just getting started in their careers. Recently, Lutheran Hour Ministries, in partnership with Main Street Living, remastered and brought to HD quality about 50 of these programs. You may notice some young actors who've become very famous. And even though the props and styles are of the 1960s and 70s, the subject matter is still very relevant. So please sit back and enjoy this week's episode of This is the Life.
I talked Joe into dropping Betsy off at nursery school so I could get an early start. You know what those white sales are like.
Who's having a white sale?
Packard's down in the mall. Well, since I was going down there anyway, I thought I might save you a trip and pick up those pillows you ordered.
Oh, hi, honey. Can't sit down. I'm really running.
Hey, you look pretty sharp.
Did you get a load of my new Spitfire out in the driveway?
That yellow convertible out there is yours?
You bet. Picked her up a couple of days ago. She's a sweet little bomb. I want to tell you, with the top down out there tooling along the freeway, I feel like about 17 years old again. Hey, come on out. You can get a load of the way those cams purr while I'm warming her up.
Daddy, I don't know anything about cars.
Well, you better get with it then.
Oh, wait a minute, Daddy.
Huh?
I've planned a heavy day of shopping downtown, and I was just about to ask Mom if she'd like to have lunch with me. How about joining us?
Oh, sorry, honey. I got a million things to do today. Impossible. It's getting so I can hardly see over the top of my desk. I thought I'd barricade myself in the office today and see if I could catch up. Probably won't even be taking phone calls. Look, are you going to come outside and take a look, or aren't you?
Okay, Daddy, I'm coming.
Look, honey, you're old enough now to drop the daddy bit. Call me Blake.
Barbara. Looks like you've had a busy morning, young lady.
Oh, Uncle Martin, hi. What are you doing here?
Well, preachers come to white sales too, you know. How's Joe and Betsy?
Fine, just fine. I was just looking for school clothes for Betsy. She starts first grade next month, and none of her old stuff fits anymore. She's growing so fast.
How are you folks? I haven't seen your dad for a couple of weeks. My sermons must really be boring if my own nephew can't come and at least pretend to listen to them.
Dad's fine. At least I think he is. Mom and I were just talking about him this morning. Well, Mom says he's been acting different lately.
How do you mean, different?
Well, for one thing, he has this flashy little sports car, bright yellow. He was showing it off for me this morning. Oh, and he says he wants me to call him Blake instead of Daddy. Can you imagine? And his clothes, he dresses like a college kid. Mom says he's been jogging and eating health food, seaweed and all that wheat germ. And touching up his gray hair. It's like he's trying to be somebody else.
Sounds to me like he's trying to fight the battle against middle age.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. Mom's kind of concerned. Oh, she doesn't come right out and say it, but it shows. We're having lunch together. Why don't you join us?
Thanks, but I'm pretending I'm on a diet. I skip lunch and then reward myself with a big dinner. Besides, I've got to get over to the hospital. I've got enough calls to make to last the rest of the afternoon. It seems like half the congregation is in surgery this week. But tell your mother I'll call her tomorrow. And say hello to Joe and Betsy for me.
I will. Bye, Uncle Marty.
Bye.
You know, it looked like it could have been your father.
Daddy? Couldn't have been Daddy. You heard what he said about working.
I know, but it certainly looked like him, and I could almost swear that it was his new sports car.
Now, there must be 100 little yellow sports cars on the road. Do you really think it was Daddy?
I don't know.
Well, it wasn't. Just to ease your mind, why don't you double check on your way back and see if the car's still there? When you get home, give me a call. We could both use a good laugh.
I know this must seem very silly, and I don't even know how to explain it, but, well, I'm Helen Ardmore.
Hi, I'm Darcy Baldwin. Blake, your wife's here. Come in. Well, let's sit down.
Helen, I can explain. It's not what you think.
Blake, sometimes you just blow my mind. Let's just be upfront about this. Mrs. Ardmore, it's exactly what you think.
I'll be right back.
I'm glad we finally met. Blake's always talking about you, but, I get the impression that you're not really open to this. Older people usually aren't. But Blake and I have been seeing each other for months now, and, I guess it's time you found out.
I don't know what...
Look, I'm sorry, but people grow apart. And yours isn't the first marriage that's gone down the tube, and it won't be the last. Just go with it. It's part of life, that's all. I mean, it's not like you'll be left with nothing. Believe me, I won't stand in the way of your getting a good settlement. But Blake wants a new life, and I can give him all the things you can't anymore.
Blake? Is that true?
It's not that simple.
Oh, it is that simple. I love Blake, and he loves me. Look, no offense, Mrs. Ardmore, but let's just face facts. I'm young, you're not. Blake's more suited to my lifestyle than yours. If you love him, you'll let him go.
Darcy, now, just back off a little, huh? Helen. What I mean is, we have to talk about this. Helen? Wait! Helen!
Blake?
Darcy, how could you do such a terrible thing? How could you be so cruel?
Well, somebody had to tell her.
Well, there are ways of telling and ways of telling.
Oh, I know you so well. You would never have done it. I just did you a favor. She had to be told, and now we can get started with our life.
Helen and I have been married for 27 years. She helped put me through school. She raised our daughter.
Just listen to you, talking in the past tense. When are you going to start thinking about now?
Well, I wish I'd waited.
Hello?
Barbara, it's Uncle Martin. I'm at the hospital. They just brought your mother in.
Oh, no. What happened? Is she all right?
Barbara, your mother's had a serious stroke. They don't know how much damage there is. Right now, they're making tests. Your father's here now. Could you come down right away?
I'll be right there. Daddy.
What did they say? Can I see her?
I just checked. No visitors, no exceptions.
No visitors, but I've got to see her.
The doctor left specific instructions. After what you told him, he thinks it's especially important that she doesn't see you. At least not yet.
But
The doctor says under the circumstances, any more stress could be fatal.
Will somebody please tell me what's going on?
Sit down, honey. Let me try to explain. You see, I was at this friend's. And, well, your mother...
Mom and I had lunch less than 2 hours ago, and she was fine. Tell me, was this friend of yours a redhead? You're disgusting. All the time I was growing up, you pounded it into me. Marriage is sacred. Marriage is forever. I hope it was worth it.
The nurse said you'd be here. Want company?
I've been sitting here thinking back over 27 years. Remembering how Helen took a part-time job when things got tough. How we took turns with Barbara when she had the colic. How she always let me try new jobs and somehow always managed to pick up the pieces when things fell apart. You may not believe this, but right now I love her more than I ever have in my whole life.
I believe it.
I don't know how it happened. I was driving home one night from work. And this car was stuck in the intersection. The water hose had blown. The driver, this girl, Darcy, she was sitting on the curb laughing like some kind of nut. Well, I helped her push the car out of traffic, and anyway, it all started as an innocent flirtation, and And then, well, she was so exciting, and I was so flattered, and I thought, I sound like an adolescent. Anyway, somehow, as things went on, I think I fell in love with her. I mean, with her and Helen, too. Does that make any sense?
It's no big deal to fall in love. Kids do it all the time. Growing in love is for mature people.
Over the past couple of years, I found myself wondering if what we share is enough. Maybe I'm missing something in our marriage. The excitement, the pleasure.
The way it was when you were 20.
The years. They keep whizzing by. With Darcy, I feel like I'm starting over. She makes me feel young again. I know what you're thinking. Say it. That doesn't give me the right to cheat on Helen. Don't stare at me like that.
Blake, I'm sorry. I wasn't staring. I guess I was just thinking. Nobody likes to grow old. But it's the only direction God makes available. There's a natural timing to life. The beginning, middle, and end. It's God's plan, and we can't change it. Aging isn't an enemy to be resisted or disguised with games.
The last thing I need right now is a stale lecture on mortality, and save the sermon about the wayward sinner for the old ladies in church on Sunday.
Okay, no sermons. But look, Blake, I care about you. You're my brother's son, and I love Helen. I want to help if I can.
Uncle Martin, wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about back there, but I can't expect you to understand. Uncle or not, you're a man of God, and what I did was wrong. I can't expect you to excuse or condone or even understand it.
You're right. I can't excuse or condone it. But I do understand it. The sounds of doors closing.
What do you mean?
You sure you want to hear about it?
Well, I guess I owe you. Go ahead.
When we're young, we think we'll live forever. Then at some point in life, we hear the sounds of doors closing behind us. Little parts of our life are over for us, and we realize we're growing older. And nobody likes the changes that brings. So sometimes we deny the truth, try to reverse the process, and open the door to youth again. But we can't.
So God just slams the door behind us, and that part of life is over? Goodbye, youth. Hello, whatever?
No, it's not that crude. Because God goes with us. His love supports us from one stage of life to another. Look, you're tired. Go home and get some rest.
Corny as it may sound, there's nothing more lonely than an empty house that should be full.
Well, then stay at my house. There's a couch in the den.
No, thanks. I want to be close to Helen tonight.
But if you need me, you know where I am.
called your office. They said she wouldn't be in today. How is she?
I've been at the hospital all night. They still won't let me see her. But I got a chance to talk to one of the doctors this morning. Looks like she's going to make it. As long as she doesn't have another one. There's always a risk of that. But she's paralyzed on the left side. The doctor says we may be looking at months of therapy. It all depends on how she responds to things. Darcy, you and me, it's wrong. It's been wrong from the start.
Look, what's happened doesn't change anything between us. Believe me, you had nothing to do with this.
Helen's never been sick a day in her life. I've had everything to do with this. Look, do you realize that Helen and I were celebrating our 5th wedding anniversary before you were born? My daughter is 3 years older than you are.
So?
Darcy, I love my wife. Strange as it may seem, I've never stopped loving her. And now, don't you understand? She needs me.
Don't you understand now? You need me more than ever. Listen. Can you tell me honestly that you'd be willing to saddle yourself with an invalid for the rest of your life?
I don't know. It's just time for me to stop playing games with my life. And with Helen's. And with yours too. I have to face the truth and admit what I am.
Your generation, you really carry around a heavy guilt trip, don't you? Will you ever learn?
I love her.
You're serious, aren't you? You're gonna throw it all away, everything I've planned for us.
I'm sorry. I really am. It just isn't fair. I'm so sorry. You said if I needed to, we could talk. Well, I need to. I've broken it off with Darcy, and I want Helen to know, but I want to tell her how sorry I am. God knows how sorry I am for what I did, but she won't let me in. My daughter has shut me out, too. She's right. They're both right. Nobody should let me in again. I can't even pray. The words won't come. I can't even tell God how sorry I am for what I did.
You don't need words with God. He knows what you want to say.
It doesn't matter. I couldn't make up for it if I lived to be 100.
Remember talking about life as doors closing behind us? Well, Christ is a door too. An open door to God's love and forgiveness. When Christ died, it was God throwing open the door to a new life for all of us. and slamming the door shut on what used to be.
But things can never be the same as they were before I...
If we give it a name, it's committing adultery. But the label doesn't change what Christ offers you. He forgives, Blake. Start with him. Go through the door he opened to you.
And the others? Helen?
Well, I can't speak for them. But when I saw Helen this morning...
You saw her? What did she say?
She's scared, Blake. Scared of how you must be thinking of her.
Scared how I think about her?
She's opening doors, too. In her mind. Going back to look at what she might have done or been to lead you to choose Darcy over her.
It wasn't her. Oh, God, it wasn't her. It was me. I've got to tell her that. But she won't see me.
Let me call her for you. The way she talked this morning, she's terribly hurt. But I think if she knew how you felt...
If she would see me, what would I say? What words could possibly...
Depend upon your life together over 27 years to give you the words.
Helen, what I've done, I've hurt you, and I can't. I have no excuse. Uncle Martin says God has forgiven. But I need you to forgive me too. If you can't love me, then let me just keep the vow we made together. So long as we both shall live.
This program is produced by Lutheran Television, a division of the International Lutheran Laymen's League, in cooperation with the Lutheran Church, Missouri Synod, and is presented by this station as a service to the religious life of the community. These films are available for church, school, and community use. Write Lutheran Television, St. Louis, Missouri, 63139.
I hope you found this program to be both entertaining and insightful. Even though the show was filmed decades ago, the concerns of those days seem to parallel many situations of today. We'll be back next week with another episode of This is the Life. In the meantime, I invite you to seek further wisdom from God's Word, the Bible, and I invite you to visit one of our congregations in your area. We are the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, and you will find our 6,000 congregations listed at www.lcms.org. This program has been brought to you by Main Street Living, which relies on the generosity of viewers to support this programming. They appreciate your prayers and would also appreciate your financial support. You can view additional episodes of This is the Life on the Main Street Living website. Thanks for watching. And join us again next week, same time, same channel, for another episode of This is the Life.